We have been watching Jason rot in WSB custody, taking the fall for a crime he did not commit, while the real shooter has been walking around completely free. The death of Ross brought a chaotic storm to town, but instead of the clouds parting, the fog of deception has only grown thicker. Everyone has been pointing fingers, trying to figure out how the evidence surrounding the shooting of Ross just magically disappeared into thin air. Well, ladies, the truth is finally coming out, and it is going to rock the very foundation of the police department. Enter Joe, the newcomer cop who is absolutely refusing to play by the unwritten rules of the town. According to my insider leak, Joe is about to become the most hated and simultaneously the most respected man in the precinct. For weeks, Joe has been quietly investigating behind the scenes, refusing to let anyone off the hook, regardless of their rank or their family legacy. He has been staring at that evidence board, piecing together the timeline of the night Ross was shot, and realizing that the official report is full of massive, glaring holes. Joe is not stupid, and he knows that when evidence goes missing from a secured police locker, it is an inside job. The leaked script reveals that Joe spends countless hours reviewing security footage, cross-referencing digital footprints, and interrogating minor witnesses that everyone else ignored. He begins to notice a very specific pattern in the missing evidence. Everything that was lost, corrupted, or destroyed directly pointed to one specific teenager. Joe realizes that the initial investigation was intentionally derailed, and he sets a trap to figure out exactly who had the access and the motive to pull off such a massive cover-up. What he finds is going to leave longtime viewers completely speechless. This brings us to the most heartbreaking revelation of this entire leaked script. If you ask me, I never thought I would see the day when Dante crossed the line from a righteous detective to a dirty, corrupt cop. But that is exactly what is happening. The leak confirms that Joe finds definitive proof showing Dante is the one who secretly destroyed all the evidence linking Rocco to the shooting of Ross. Dante, the man who has spent his entire adult life upholding the law, completely threw his morals out the window to protect his son. He scrubbed the crime scene, buried the ballistic reports, and intentionally derailed the entire investigation to make sure Rocco would never see the inside of a jail cell. Now, I know some of you mothers out there might be saying that you would do the exact same thing to protect your child, but we have to look at the massive collateral damage Dante has caused. By destroying the evidence to protect Rocco, Dante actively allowed the WSB to arrest Jason. He let an innocent man take the fall. I have been analyzing Dante's motivations, and it is clear that his paternal instinct completely overrode his oath as an officer. He justified his actions by telling himself that Rocco is just a boy who made a terrible mistake in a moment of panic, while Jason is a seasoned enforcer who can handle a stint in WSB custody. But that justification is a direct betrayal of everything Dante is supposed to stand for. And do not even get me started on Lulu, because my jaw hit the floor when I read her part in this upcoming storyline. The leaked script reveals that Lulu is not an innocent bystander in this massive cover-up. She has known the truth about Rocco shooting Ross from the very beginning. Instead of doing the right thing, Lulu chose to stand by Dante and actively hide the truth from the authorities. We are talking about a woman who has always been so quick to judge everyone else's moral failings, but the second her own son is in trouble, she becomes a willing accomplice to a major federal crime. If you ask me, the writers are setting Lulu up for a massive fall from grace. She is going to face charges for obstruction of justice and being an accessory after the fact. I can already picture the scenes where Lulu cries and plays the victim, claiming she was only doing what any mother would do to protect her child. But the reality is that Lulu and Dante sat back and watched Jason get ripped away from his family, knowing full well that Rocco was the one who pulled the trigger on Ross. The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering, and Joe is not going to let her shed a few tears and walk away free. Meanwhile, we have to talk about Jason, who is currently enduring absolute hell in a maximum security WSB holding facility. Jason has always been the sacrificial lamb for the people he cares about, but this time it is entirely unjust. He stepped up to protect Rocco because he thought it was the right thing to do in the heat of the moment, but he never expected Dante and Lulu to completely erase the truth and leave him to rot. The emotional weight of Jason sitting in that cell, completely isolated from his friends and family, is going to be a major focal point in the upcoming episodes. The injustice of it all is enough to make any longtime fan scream at their television screen. But the real hero of this story, the one who is going to blow this entire conspiracy wide open, is Danny. According to the insider leak, Danny is the ultimate key witness, who holds the final piece of Joe's puzzle. Danny knows exactly what happened the night Ross was shot, and the psychological burden of carrying that secret has been tearing him apart. He has been watching his father, Jason, suffer behind bars, knowing that a simple confession could set him free. Danny has been caught in an impossible dilemma, torn between his loyalty to Rocco and his desperate need to save Jason from a lifetime in federal prison. The leaked script details a highly emotional, tear-jerking scene where Danny finally breaks down and goes to Joe. I am telling you guys, this scene is going to win awards. Danny sits in the interrogation room, tears streaming down his face, and officially goes on the record. He provides Joe with the exact sequence of events, confirming without a shadow of a doubt that Rocco was the one who shot Ross. Danny's testimony is the final nail in the coffin for Dante's elaborate cover-up. Combined with the digital footprint and the destroyed evidence Joe already tracked down, Danny's statement gives Joe everything he needs to make his move. Once Joe has Danny's official statement, he is faced with the absolute toughest decision of his entire career in law enforcement. He has all the evidence proving that Rocco shot Ross, that Dante destroyed the evidence, and that Lulu helped cover it up, but Dante is his commanding officer. Arresting your own boss is career suicide in most police departments, and Joe knows that taking down a family with this much power and legacy is going to put a massive target on his back. The internal conflict Joe faces is going to be incredibly compelling to watch, as he weighs his duty to the badge against the immense pressure to just look the other way. But if there is one thing we have learned about Joe, it is that his moral compass does not waver for anyone. He firmly believes that nobody is above the law, not even the golden boy detective. Joe realizes that if he lets Dante get away with this, the entire justice system in town is nothing but a joke. He knows that Jason is suffering in a WSB cell because of Dante's corruption, and Joe simply cannot live with himself if he allows an innocent man to be punished for a crime committed by a privileged teenager. Joe decides to go rogue, bypassing the normal chain of command to secure the arrest warrants himself. This all leads to what I am calling the most explosive sweep climax we have ever seen. The leaked script details a massive, highly public confrontation right in the middle of the police station bullpen. Joe walks in, flanked by internal affairs officers holding 3 freshly signed arrest warrants. The entire precinct goes dead silent. You can hear a pin drop as Joe marches straight up to Dante's desk. I can already see the look of absolute shock and betrayal on Dante's face when he realizes that his own subordinate has successfully unraveled his master plan to protect Rocco. Joe does not hold back. He loudly declares that he is placing Dante under arrest for tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and official misconduct regarding the investigation into the death of Ross. Dante tries to pull rank, trying to order Joe to stand down, but Joe stands tall and refuses to back away. He looks Dante dead in the eye and tells him that the badge does not give him the right to play God with Jason's life. It is going to be a phenomenal Clash of Titans, a moment where the old guard is finally held accountable by a cop who actually believes in the law. But Joe is not finished. The insider leak reveals that Joe immediately dispatches officers to track down Lulu and Rocco. In a heartbreaking sequence of events, we are going to see Lulu placed in handcuffs right in front of her friends, charged as an accessory to the crime. And then, the most tragic moment of all, Rocco is taken into custody for the shooting of Ross. Imagine the visual impact of seeing Dante, Lulu, and Rocco all sitting in holding cells, their family completely destroyed by their own web of lies and deceit. It is a Shakespearean tragedy playing out right before our eyes. The only silver lining in this devastating storyline is that Joe's relentless pursuit of the truth finally paves the way for Jason to be cleared of all charges. With Rocco officially named as the shooter of Ross, and Dante's cover-up exposed to the federal authorities, the WSB will have no choice but to release Jason. Jason will finally get to walk out of that facility a free man, but he is going to return to a town that has been completely fractured by this scandal. The dynamic between Jason, Danny, and the rest of the families will never be the same again. This storyline is going to change the fabric of the show forever. Joe is going to transform from a background detective into a frontline hero who is not afraid to take down the most powerful families in town. The legal battles, the emotional fallout, and the sheer betrayal are going to fuel the drama for months to come. So, I have to ask you guys, do you think Dante deserves to go to prison for protecting Rocco, or was he just doing what any loving father would do? And how on earth is Lulu going to talk her way out of this one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I know you ladies have some strong opinions on this absolute mess.